Hello, literature lovers. Today I am going to focus, as you can see, works of Mulk Anand. That's his beautiful portrait. This is a very famous work. Text is given here. Mulk Anand was very committed towards the society and belonged to that late period. And five of his best novels were Untouchable, Coolie, Two Lies and a Bud, The Sword and the Sickle, and The Road. And you will get all of the details here. The first published was The Untouchable. So, talking about the dividing in the society, the class division, which is very prominent in India. So, it was focused here clearly. It's great work, and I don't want to make it. And it was very famous that E.M. Foster wrote the preface of this one. So these facts, really matter a lot, and you can see the popularity of Mr. Mulk Anand, that such famous authors are writing the preface and other things related to it. It's very important. The detail of it given, you can see the class segregation was too much that it really forced that they are not even right to touch each other because of class dividing. So how the storyline goes out is given here, and you can straightforward read it clearly. Characters' names are also quite different, and you can get the clear and such a clear view of Hindu and Indian scenario, and which is quite relevant in nowadays too. It's not like you will get the glimpse of that time only. And in fact, it is said that Anand is the first Indian novelist to have depicted in the novel from the stigma of this evil, this class segregation evil, which isolates a man from his own society. So it's a very clear thing that nobody understands, that when you are forcing someone, you are hating someone, you are in fact hating yourself, and you are dividing in some kind of thing. It is means you are dividing yourself, you are separating yourself from yourself. It's just part of you. When we start thinking like that, one Sigmund Freud said that if we are hating someone, it means in psychological terms we are hating ourselves, because there is something in ourselves that really separates, that really forces us to hate someone else. So you can see there are psychological transition from innocence to experience, and all the crises are being held. The special characters, Charat Singh and all, they really highlight it clearly. So this work, Untouchable, is on the main focus right now, and I want to talk about it. I always try to think that some works really need a special reference, and this work I personally adore a lot. The clarity that it includes is great. The whole scenario is given here of the Untouchable, and dialogues are so special. The novel is quite, explicit about the rebellious attitude, how the storyline goes, and the names really highlighted, and obviously the colonial effect of that time, because it was almost pre-independent era. So that is also quite specially given, symbolic presentation of the pre-independent era, and how the other kind of exploitation is done by the high caste Hindus to the other castes, which are downtrodden or outcasted. It's clearly given here. This work will really exploit all the scenarios, the different variety of characters, like the Gulabo, a washerwoman, and a caste superior to other outcasts. So the segregation continues. Doesn't matter that whether you are, this is not like you have only two categories, high society or the lower caste. There are other things also. Both of them really talk about it. The characters and storyline really highlights it clearly. You can read the presentation. There is so much to tell about this work that it cannot be summarized so easily. The storyline talking about it, the textual reference is given. We can see clearly how it is highlighting. Characters' names are quite interesting. Kalinath, Anand, all of them. And the reference of the colonial and the Christianity and being the Christian assault on the Hindu religion. So all these aspects are clearly highlighted here. The other characters, Havaldar, Charan Singh, and Pandit Kalinath, all needed to be taken into focus. Exploitation is the main theme, as a title only suggests that, so it cannot be avoided at all. It is referred. Interconflict of the individual is also there, set, is used in greater context. So it cannot be removed so easily. Awakening the exploited thing and the suppressed and the dehumanized class of the society. That is also a part of the work of Anand. And the dialogues are quite clear that he felt he could kill them all. He looked ruthless, deadly pale, and livid in anger and rage. So clearly, all the works are being highlighted. Characters deep instinct, you will really feel a great turmoil and it will really shackle your things of how it can be done. How humiliation is being part of their life now. Even their shadow is being casted as. And how that political turmoil, how Mahatma Gandhi really highlighted their work and talk about them in clear light. All of it is given. The, especially the denial of education to the outcast, in the past of the social exploitation. So denial of education was there, really highlighted clearly. They were forced to clean the dirt, and which is done by high caste. The society is being forced to do that. All these points really talk about it. The outcasts are exploited by almost all economic level in every context. It's part of their life. They were forced to do things. The superiority and inferiority complex are both deeply rooted in the high caste and low caste. That is a very special thing that I realized. That is not about only the inferiority complex. It is also about a superiority complex. Means if you belong to a higher society and high class, then you are forced that cannot do this work or that work. You are forced to do this work, and when you are interested in doing something else, you cannot do it since your name suggests something else. So, this superiority complex is also quite revealing. It really hurts a lot. So, it's not the case so simple. All the things are being highlighted. It's so wide and so clear, and I hope I am helping it. And especially Anand feels that somehow Hindu religion itself is responsible for this social discrimination. So that can be a controversial statement, and if you try to point out religion, that how it is being used as a part of discrimination, how government's negligence is almost highlighting the things, how political interference in the society and with the collaboration of religion is making it a lethal combination of how Hindu pundits are exploiting. And it is not about exploiting the lower class, it is about exploiting the higher class too, because they don't really realize how the thing goes. Economic exploitation has been a common cause of poverty and hunger in the countryside of India, and which is the backbone of India. And that manual scavengers and the lethal workers, washermen, barbers, water carriers, the grass cutters, all these cars, all are being part of it. They are forced to live separately, they are forced to be on that side of the coin, and they used them as something else. The lines are talking about the poor low caste men and women, they are forced to live outside the city. All these points are being highlighted, clearly written in the book. So deep work and cannot be taken, and it is still relevant in India. So need to be focused that how this work talking about. And it's quite sadistic delight sometimes, staring at the beggars mourning for alms but not receiving any. That kind of thing is also quite disturbing. You know, people find it them despicable. So this kind of feeling in the people are becoming sadist. It's really very shocking. I personally cannot believe that people can talk to them like that, treat them like that, mocking at their poverty. How you can be so inhuman? And it is quite common now. It is quite common in this area, and the mentality goes like that. In fact, higher level of education doesn't treat sometimes, it is so inbuilt in you that it's so difficult for you to talk about it. And now here the comes the famous Marx, who wanted to give a revolutionary gospel to the poor and the downtrodden. On the contrary, Gandhi wanted to remove poverty, which is the cause of exploitation, make them aware of their rights. So all of this is important, and the references of the real life characters, make it really special, and that's what I like about Anand, how he did it in clear light. I hope you must have got an overall idea. That was the famous novel Untouchable by Mulk Anand.